Welcome to the third lecture of English language course. This course is designed for the 4-year students in the Department of Biology, College of Science, University of Baghdad. This course is presented by Dr. Ahmed Salim and Dr. Shamam Nasser. The main objective of this lecture is to understand the differences between past simple and present perfect. Also to understand when to use the past simple, the past continuous, and the past perfect tenses. To understand the differences between past simple and past perfect. Also to understand when to use the time clauses. So what do I mean by narrative tenses? Narrative tenses are verb tenses that are used to talk about the past. Normally or usually I can find them in stories, textbooks, spoken accounts, and in description of past events. These are past tenses, all past tenses, past simple, past continuous, past perfect, and past perfect continuous. If you have been asked this question, what are the differences between past simple and present perfect? Past simple normally used when you refer to finished past. For example, when you are talking about someone who lived in the past and died. So you will use a past simple. For example, Shakespeare wrote plays. Shakespeare lived like maybe 100 years ago and he died. So I will use simple past or past simple. I will not use present perfect. While when I'm talking about someone who is living now and he's still alive, I will say I have, for example, when I'm talking about myself, I will say I have written short stories. I'm alive. So I use present perfect here, not simple past. Uh, Number two, when I'm talking about something in the past, there is no present result. For example, I hurt my back, but my back is not hurting me more. There is no pain. So I used past simple. But I say, when I'm saying I have hurt my back, it means my back hurts now. It hurts now. So I use present perfect, because there is still a present result for that effect. Number three, past simple refers to definite past. It means that there is a limited time when I'm talking about something. For example, I saw him last night. So there's definite time. I give a definite time last night, or I saw him 2 weeks ago, or I saw him on Monday, or I saw him at 8 o'clock. So I give a definite time when I talked about when I saw him. Okay, when we compare the previous example with the present perfect, in the present perfect, indefinite adverb are using. For example, I have seen him recently, or I have seen him before, or I have seen him since January. So all these adverbs are indefinite adverbs. It means that it didn't give me like exact time when this happened exactly, when I have seen him, or I haven't seen him yet, or I haven't seen him for months. So for months and yet, they didn't give me exact time. Or I have never seen him, or I have just seen him. So never seen him or just seen him, it doesn't give me when exactly that happened. Note, even when there is no past time adverbial, we can build a past time in our head. What does it mean? It means that even when I can't find adverb in the sentence, but I can understand from the whole context of the sentence that which time it refers to. Look at this question. Did you have a good journey? So the journey ends and you are here now. So from the context of this question, you understand it happened in the past. Thank you for supper. It was lovely. From the context, I understand that the meal is finished. So this the action happened in the past. Another example, where did you buy that shirt? I'm asking somebody about the place from where uh, he or she bought that shirt. So from the context, I understand that this thing happened in the past when that person doing shopping one day or other day. Now we will gonna talk about each tense in more details. Let's start with the past simple. Past simple is used to express a finished action in the past. As we mentioned earlier, when we talk about something happened in the past or somebody did something in the past and that action already completed or finished in the past, we will use a past simple. For example, Columbus discovered America in 1492. When I'm talking about a person who did something in the past and that action is finished with no present result, I will use a past simple. Number two, to express actions which follow each other in the story. For example, I heard voices coming from downstairs, so I put on my dressing gown and went to investigate. So it's like I'm telling a story. When I'm telling a story in this, like like this, I will use a past simple. Or to express a past state or habit. For example, when I was a child, we lived in a small house by the sea. Every day I walked for miles on the beach with my dog. So I'm talking about a habit that I used to do in the past. Also, the verb use is often expressed with used to, so I can't use the verb used alone. I have to follow or joined it with to. For example, we used to live. I used to walk, so I joined used with to. I can't use this verb alone. Another narrative tense or verb is past continuous. Past continuous mean progress, the activity in progress. Past continuous is used to express an activity in progress before and probably after a time in the past. For example, I phoned at 4, but there was no reply. What were you doing? What were you doing is past continuous tense, and it is asking about the time when someone is phoned at 4, but there was no reply. So the continuous tense here, what were you doing, is asking about this time, at the time activity in progress. Number two, it's used to describe a past situation or activity. For example, the cottage was looking so cozy, a fire was burning in the grate, music was playing, and from the kitchen were coming the most delicious smell. Cottage was looking so cozy, fire was burning in a grate, music was playing. All this activity is in a continuous progress. Number three, to express uninterrupted past activity. For example, I was having a bath when the phone rang. So the I was having a bath is the past continuous, and this action interrupted is interrupted by uh, by another activity. The other activity is phone rang. Another use of the past continuous is to express an incomplete activity in the past. For example, I was reading a book during the flight, but I didn't finish the book. So the activity is incompleted. While when I said I watched a film during the flight, it means the whole film. So I finished the film. Another use for the past continuous is to express an activity that was in progress at every moment during a period of time. For example, I was working all day yesterday. It means every hour or every minute I continue working. I didn't stop. Or they were flying for the whole of the holiday. So all the holiday they were flying. Please bear in your mind that the past simple expresses past actions as simple, complete facts, while the past continuous gives past activities time and duration. For example, what did you do last night? I stayed at home and watched the football. I phoned you last night, but there was no reply. I was watching the football and I didn't hear the phone. So the past simple in the first two sentences, it gives like complete action. But in the last one, I was watching the football and I didn't hear the phone. It gives the exact, it gives the past activity, the time and duration. So when it happened and the duration, the when it started and when it is finished. Also, notice how the questions in the past continuous and past simple refer to different times. When we arrived, Jane was ironing. She stopped ironing and made some coffee. What was she doing when we arrived? She was ironing. What did she do when we arrived? She made some coffee. Look at the differences when I use the question, one in simple, one in past simple, one in continuous, past continuous. Look at the differences. Another narrative verb is past perfect and past perfect continuous. Past perfect is used to look back to a time in the past and refer to an action that happened before then. What does it mean? For example, she was crying because her dog had died. So this tense, her dog had died, is a past perfect, and it look back to a time that happened in the past, and at the same time refer to an action that happened before. So she was crying as a result of her dog had died in the past. Or I arrived to pick up Dave, but he had already left. So this tense sentences he had already left is past perfect tense. And this action happened in the past. Dave left, had already left. And when I arrived, I didn't find him. Kate was fed up. She had been looking for a job for months, but he had found nothing. So he had found nothing is a past perfect tense, and this action happened in the past. So he fed up because he tried to find a job, but he didn't find anything. So past perfect uh, is is an action happened in the past, but at the same time refer to an action that happened before. Note: Please bear in your mind that the past perfect continuous refers to longer actions or repeated activities. The simple refers to shorter and complete facts. For example, he had lost his job and his wife had left him. Since then, he had been sleeping rough and he hadn't been eating properly. The past perfect can refer to definite as well as indefinite time. Definite, I mean by definite, is like a specific time, while indefinite is unspecific time. For example, I knew his face immediately. I had first met him in October 1993. So October 1993 is a definite time. I recognized her face. I had seen her somewhere before. Somewhere before is indefinite time, so I didn't give specific time when I seen her before. So what are the differences between past perfect and past simple? In past simple, verb tell a story in order. For example, John worked hard all day to prepare for the party. Everyone had a good time. Even the food was all right, unfortunately, and they upset Peter, so Peter left early. Pat came looking for Peter, but he wasn't there. It was a great party. John sat and looked at all the mess. He felt tired. It was time for bed. So it is telling the action in a story. It's like story style. While in past perfect, the speaker or writer can tell a story in different order. John sat and looked at all the mess. It had been a great party and everyone had had a good time. Even the food had been all right. Unfortunately, Andy upset Peter, so Peter left early. Pat came looking for Peter, but he had already gone. John felt tired. He had been working all day to prepare for the party. It was time for bed. So it's telling the what happened not in order, like it's not in different order, not like the past simple. Please note that for reasons of style, it's not necessary to have every verb in the past perfect. For example, Andy upset Peter. Peter left. We don't need to say Andy had upset Peter and Peter had left. It's not necessary to mention had in each time if we are repeating the same style, the same past perfect. So once the time of past in the past has been established, the past simple can be used as long as there is no ambiguity or there's no doubt, there's no uncertainty. Okay, now we reach the final part of our lecture today is the time clauses. Time clauses means I'm talking about two actions. Either two actions are conjunctions, like the first action join the other one. In this case, I will use the past simple tense, but also I can use past perfect tense. For example, after I had a bath, I went to bed. So the first action is I had a bath. After that, I went to bed. So both actions like conjuncted to each other. Here I can also use a past perfect. I can say after I had a bath, I went to bed. Another example, as soon as the guest left, I started tidying up. So the first action is guest left, and the second one I started tidying up. So both actions are conjunction with each other. I sat outside until the sun went down, or after the sun had gone. So the first action is the sun went down, and the second action I sat outside. Past perfect can help to make the first action seem separate, independent of the second, or completed before the second action started. So in the first example, we said two actions are conjunctions with each other. But in the second example here, the first action is separate or independent from the second one because I use the past perfect in this time. For example, when I had to read the paper, I threw it away. So as soon as I finished from the reading, I threw it away. So the two action is separate, or they are not dependent in each other. We stayed up until all the food had gone. So we stayed up, this is the first one, until the food had gone. This is the second one. Look at the two actions are looking separate, or they are not dependent in each other. Another example of using the time clauses is when two verbs in the past simple can suggest that the first action led into the other, or that one caused the other to happen. For example, when I heard the news, I burst out or I started crying. So, as a result of hearing the news, it led me to cry. So, the first one is the cause. I heard the news is the cause sentence, and I started crying is the effects sentence. Another example, as soon as the alarm went off, I got up. So I got up as a result of alarm went off. Past perfect is more common with when because it is ambiguous or unclear. The other conjunctions are more specific, so the past perfect is not so essential. As soon as the guest left, I tidied the house. So as a result of guest left, I tidied the house. Before I met you, I didn't know the meaning of happiness. So the because I met you, I know the meaning of happiness. When I opened the door, the cat jumped out. Because the opened because I opened the door, the cat jumped out. Look at the last sentence. When I had opened the mail, I made another cup of tea. So I used when here because I'm using past perfect tense. I had opened the mail. And without when, the sentence will be unclear. If I said I had opened the mail, I made another cup of tea, it will not giving me any sense and any meaning. But when I used when, it will give me clear meaning. When I had opened the mail, I made another cup of tea. This is why we said that with the past perfect, I have to use when because it makes the meaning more clear. Listening and speaking. Please listen to the conversations in page 28, Unit 3, and answer the questions.